We all know the classic Cinderella story. Glass slipper, fairy godmother, happily ever after. But the ugly stepsister takes that and rips it apart, quite literally, in fact. And I got to say, I didn't expect much going in. I had heard that the movie, had some buzz. It was even recommended to me by somebody. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be into this one because I'm pretty cold on body horror in general, as you know. But this one actually really surprised me. It's not the Cinderella story that we grew up with, but it's one that makes more sense for the modern world. The reframing of a fairy tale through a horror lens ended up feeling more honest than the original telling of this story. Let's talk about it. This is set in a fairy tale world, fairy tale kingdom, where beauty rules everything. Our main character, Elvira, she is one of two ugly daughters of the mother, who is marrying some dude for money purposes only, and it turns out he's marrying her for money, and neither of them actually have money. And so the families are paired up, but we get two biological sisters, Elvira and Alma, and then their stepsister, Agnes, who is actually beautiful. The girls compete for a ball that is being put on by the prince of the kingdom to find his bride-to-be. And our main character, Elvira, goes through a series of, I guess, body mutilations to try to look beautiful for the prince and to win his hand in marriage. It's pretty much Cinderella, except this movie here is told from the perspective of one of the stepsisters in Cinderella, basically.
Right.
Well, that perspective flip was actually pretty cool, but does something also interesting in that in the original Cinderella telling, the stepsisters and the stepmother are the villains of the story. They're just
the oppressors.
They're the oppressors.
Yeah.
They're the bad guys. They're keeping Cinderella as like a slave or whatever. But this movie frames the sisters, all of them, as being flawed people, not by their own doing, but by the mother. The mother is really the bad guy in this movie, I would say.
I mean, they're all victims, all the women in their own way,
right?
Just to this ideal beauty world. Like you said, beauty is like power and status, and like chasing it. So yeah, I would say that the mother is the more evil one of them all. Yeah.
They're doing stuff based on what is being thrown at them, essentially. They're reacting to outside influences rather than just being manipulated by like evil or malice or whatever, greed and stuff like that. There is certainly some of that in there, but it's from an outside force that's making them feel that way. This telling of Cinderella obviously leans more into horror and less fantasy, but it is actually pretty fantastical in the way that it's shot, in the music of it. The music I thought was a huge part of this. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but it did have a fantastical feel to it. And I think that's because of it's a satire. It's a black comedy sort of satirical movie. It's not just straight horror. And I think that's why it had like this like whimsy and this like fantastical element to it. Yeah, it did a good job of nailing those two things and sort of blending those two things together.
Yeah, for sure. I also had no idea what to expect going into this. I was actually shocked when I first started hearing them speak. I was like, oh shit, it's like a foreign film.
I didn't know it was foreign.
Because I didn't even know. I was like, okay, let me check I had to check my settings.
I did
like,
the same thing.
What did I do?
I did the exact
But then
same.
it turns out, okay, all right, we're good. The origin of Cinderella in this was different because I was like, okay, the stepsister is clearly Cinderella here. Oh wait, no, she's not. And they kind of like flop between them a lot, which is different and cool because usually Cinderella is always Cinderella, but in this it's like three different Cinderellas here almost. Like
kind of, yeah.
The bully becomes the bullier or whatever, however you want to say that. It was some of that in there too. Yeah, I enjoyed this a lot. I thought it was great. I'm kind of shocked actually that I enjoyed it. I didn't think it would.
So we both are. I didn't think you would like it, to be honest. I thought this was going to be one that we were going to all like shit on. And then by the time I finished it and I ended up liking it, I was like, oh, I'm going to be like defending this movie to these two guys. It's a weird movie. Like it's not, I didn't expect anything. It was
very slow.
Very slow, but deliberate.
But yes.
Very deliberate pacing.
They built it out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was great pacing the way they built it out.
It makes you feel very uneasy. It has like a very muted color palette to the movie. It feels like a Zack Snyder movie. It just has this like, I don't know, the kingdom, like the settings, it just has this sort of like dreary feel to it almost.
Doomed is like how I would describe it from the get-go. It was like nothing good is going to come of this movie is how I had a feel like the entire time.
I didn't really fully understand that this was a retelling of Cinderella. It took me a little bit longer to like realize. I was thinking about it. I was like, is this Cinderella? Like clearly they're taking elements of it, but it was a while before I realized like, oh, this is a full retelling of Cinderella. So
it was a little forced, honestly. I'll say.
You think so?
It didn't like ruin it for me, but I thought the subtleness of the telling of the Cinderella story was better. Like the more realistic approach was better.
I also really liked that the prince was also like kind of just a piece of shit.
Oh my God. Instantly.
And he's not like...
He's like, I don't want to that.
Yeah, he's not like the Prince Charming.
Prince Charming. I know, not at all. He's just another, But I mean, that's realistic. Like you wouldn't expect a prince that's been like catered to his entire life. Like these aren't usually good people.
He'd be like Joffrey.
Like, princes and king. Exactly. Yeah. Like they're usually pieces of shit because they get to do whatever they want. And yeah.
Right. And clearly they have like such a grip over the kingdom because beauty is like the end all be all here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even the mother is like suffering from it. She's like, who will want an old woman with saggy or whatever she said.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So basically Elvira, she starts to go through these, I guess plastic surgeries is the best way to describe it. But they did a really good job because
they did.
I thought the exact same thing the whole time. I was like, wow, like she's really transforming the way she looks. It's kind of crazy.
I was like, oh,
yeah.
I got a lot of vibes of Substance.
The Substance, yeah.
Yeah. Got some Substance vibes throughout this.
It's similar. So it's about the changing of your body for a goal. I explained this to you when we watched together. You were like, I was like, body horror is usually about the transformation, right?
Right.
That's like kind of what the genre is. And of course, this movie, the subtext to it is the beauty standards that women face, especially young
unrealistic beauty standards.
Yeah, and conforming to that. And, The Substance was a little bit different because she was a professional actor aging, and she realized, like, I have to stay young looking to keep my career going and all that stuff. This was a little bit different, but same thing. It's the same thing, same concept.
Same pressure. Yeah, pressure from society and your job or whatever it may be.
The only thing I don't really totally agree with movies like this is the framing of plastic surgery as like this evil thing that you shouldn't do to yourself. Like, maybe I'm a snowflake, but I do think that, like, I do believe in the my body, my choice idea of like, who cares what people do with their own bodies? It's their bodies. I agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Some people take plastic surgery too far, and I do think some people end up looking ridiculous, especially the ones that are like,
the fact when women or whoever feels forced to do it is where that's why it gets demonized.
Like, sometimes these movies feel like they are demonizing the actual act of getting plastic surgery itself. This movie didn't do that. Neither did The Substance. These movies are critiques on, like you said, the outside influences,
the world that is the bad
that make people feel like they have to have these modifications done in order to succeed or be pretty or whatever, fit standards that exist for some bizarre reason. So
you aren't ugly. The world is, like, that sort of message. Yeah.
Ooh, Marvin, damn.
I didn't come up with that. That was in one of these movies we watched, I'm pretty sure.
That was some hot fire right there. Take the credit. I got chills from that one. But of course, in typical body horror fashion, the transformation starts to become more brutal as we go on. Her desperate attempt to become pretty starts to go fly off the rails. This movie made me feel like I had a fucking disease almost. Like, the idea that thing is just living inside of her, and you hear it gurgling every so often.
Oh my God. It was almost like a xenomorph about to pop out of her stomach.
They did it in one of those like scenes. That, yeah.
Did you see it? It was huge, dude.
My stomach just gurgled a few minutes ago because I haven't eaten yet today, and I'm like uneasy about it. I'm like, oh shit. I didn't like The Substance. We've gone over it multiple times. I thought it was a little bit like kind of like a stroke fest. A little bit in terms of like, this is art. This didn't feel like that to me, and that's why it actually surprised me, because I do hate body horror. I hate it for the reason that it always feels pretentious. It always feels like it's jerking itself off. It always feels like, look at me, I'm making art. I'm making this shock film. This didn't feel like that to me.
Nah, not at all. Yeah, I agree.
And all the things that she's doing made sense to her goals. And I got to tell you, man, were the body things that they were doing in this were effective. You know that feeling you get in like your nether region, that like sinking feeling when you watch something uncomfortable? I felt like that through the whole movie. Very effective in making you like squirm and all the things that you would want to have happen in a body horror movie. So that was really cool. And then the other thing with this movie too, and this is why I think it separated itself a little bit, is that it emphasized there was a psychological horror to this movie as much as there was a body horror about it, because it's about the overwhelming fears of feelings of like envy and identity and conformity and like all these things, which again, you know, the Substance had as well, but in a different way. So yeah, I think this movie was effective on like multiple levels, which was really good. The performances in this movie were phenomenal.
100%. Yeah.
Always blown away by a foreign film, because it's always usually actors you're not familiar with, you've never seen before.
That's true.
You know, usually with low budget movies, you don't get great acting, but this movie, the performances were stellar. Like you feel everything Elvira feels. Her like portrayal of the like pain she's going through. Yeah. Very, very good. You definitely feel the inner and outer pain. Like, that's what I'm saying. The physical and emotional pain that she's dealing with. Yeah, I guess that's what the big separator is for me, is that the body horror in this was used meaningfully. It wasn't just for shock value. And that's why I think the pacing feels a little bit slow in this movie, because they're really just telling a character story. You're learning about each character, and the actual like horror stuff comes up every so often. The tone and the imagery in the movie was really effective and powerful. I could understand why maybe some people would say the pacing is a little bit slow, but I didn't bump into that at all. I thought it I enjoyed the ride. Yeah. It was good. Yeah. It built up the tension really well to where it finally gets paid off at the end. Like I said, I usually don't like body horror. I've hated everyone we've watched, but yeah, I actually really liked this one for all the reasons we've discussed. This felt different enough, and it wasn't trying to shock me, I don't think. And that's what I think the separator was. This didn't feel pretentious. It was creative and imaginative, and I really like that. I think this movie succeeded in a big bad way. Think about Cinderella and how like kind of up of a story it is to tell a kid. It's like, oh, you gotta, you know, you become beautiful and win the hand of the prince and da-da-da-da. This movie took that concept and gave it a truthful spin, in my opinion. Like that's kind of a the ugly thing. Truth. Yeah. It is. That's a toxic thing to say to a kid or to teach a child. And this movie kind of puts focus on that and flips it on its head. The connection that fairy tales all almost have to beauty. They all have this like beauty message, which is that it's kind of crazy when you actually think about it. Yeah, it's not great. That's probably why, I mean, some of the newer Disney stuff is does it stray away from that, or is it still in the same? Like Frozen. I think some of the newer stuff strays away from that. They're more about like empowerment and like woke shit, so that's good. Yeah. I thought it was great from top to bottom. I don't have any real complaints about it. It's got a 7.0. I don't think that's high enough, to be honest. I'm going to bump that up. I would give this a 9 out of 10. Yeah. I'm trying to think of my problems with this. I don't have problems with it. I just don't think I would rewatch it. One time is good. There weren't enough moments in this movie that made me like want to go back and rewatch it. And that's like the final decider for me of what I'm going to do with a 10, if I'm going to give a 10. That's fair. I'm right there then. It's a 9. Okay, cool. I'm glad we both liked it. I wouldn't rewatch it either. Yeah, it was good though. You know, there's movies that exist where you just, what do I want to watch tonight? Oh, I know. I'm going to watch The Ugly Stepsister. Like, this isn't one of those movies. Nah. There's our thoughts, folks, on The Ugly Stepsister. If you've seen it, please leave a comment down below. Let us know what you thought. If you haven't, and you are a horror fan, no better month than October. Go check it out. I believe it's streaming somewhere. You can find it. Check it out. It was a really good movie, worth the watch. And then come back and let us know what you thought about it.